Before you get married, double-check your mother-in-law, don't be blinded by love. She has a routine for their lovemaking. A story written by Christy Midnight Tales. From the very beginning, people warned Amanda that Michael's mother wasn't an ordinary woman, but love has a way of muting every sensible voice. Michael was everything she prayed for, gentle, respectful, and calm in that quiet way that made her believe peace followed him everywhere. When he loved, he did it with patience, the kind that melts every guard. The only thing that made her uneasy was how often his mother came up in their conversations. Mama said I should rest more. Mama doesn't like that restaurant. Mama thinks I look pale. He said it so casually that she laughed it off. At first, the first time she met Madame Eunice, the older woman welcomed her with tears and prayers, hugging her so tightly it almost felt like ownership. My son talks about you all the time, she said. You're the woman I've been fasting for. It sounded sweet, but there was something possessive in the way her fingers stayed locked around the younger woman's hand, like she was marking territory. As the wedding plans began, Madame Eunice transformed. She took over completely. She didn't just offer opinions, she gave instructions, the hall. Her choice, the color of the day. Her decision, even the photographer was her cousin's son. When the bride's friends tried suggesting anything different, Madame Eunice would smile that dangerous smile and say, "My dear, this wedding is between families, not friends. Let's do it properly." Michael never interfered. Whenever his fiancée looked at him for backup, he'd whisper, "Just let her have her way, please. It makes her happy." That was the first crack, small, almost invisible, but deep enough to worry her mother, who pulled her aside one afternoon and said, "You sure this man is yours? Because it looks like you're marrying both of them." She laughed it off, calling her mother dramatic. The red flags kept waving. At the fitting, Madame Eunice rejected the wedding gown she had chosen. "Too revealing," she said sharply. "You're marrying into a decent home. No wife of mine will show her shoulders." At the cake tasting, she pushed the bride aside. "Michael doesn't like chocolate, make it vanilla." During church rehearsal, she interrupted the choir to correct the bride's posture. "Stand beside him properly, don't block him from the camera." And through it all, Michael just smiled that weak, apologetic smile, as if he was caught between two worlds but had already chosen which one he belonged to. The day before the wedding, Madame Eunice moved into their hotel suite to make sure everything goes smoothly. At midnight, she knocked on their door, carrying a bowl of hot soup. "My son doesn't sleep well before big events," she said, setting it down. "He needs his mother tonight." The bride watched as Michael thanked her softly and drank every spoonful. The next morning, while the bride got dressed, she heard Madame Eunice's voice echoing from the hallway, commanding vendors like a general. "No loud music during the vows. My son hates noise." It wasn't their wedding anymore. It was hers. After the reception, she was exhausted but happy. For a few precious hours, it felt like they had won. Until they got home and Madame Eunice appeared in the doorway. Still in her gold lace, holding a key. "You two will stay here tonight," she said softly. "This house has been in our family for 40 years. It's bad luck to start marriage elsewhere." Michael didn't argue. He never did, and as the bride changed out of her gown in the guest room, because her new mother-in-law had already occupied the master bedroom for spiritual covering, she realized something she'd been too blind to see all along. Michael wasn't just his mother's son, he was her entire world, and she had just married into it. The first night of their marriage was supposed to be sacred, the beginning of something tender, but in Madame Eunice's house, even love had to wait for permission. Amanda had barely shut the bedroom door when Michael wrapped his arms around her. His touch was gentle, nervous, like a man trying to remember how to be alone with his wife. She smiled. Finally, no guests, no cameras, no mama, but before he could finish, they heard a knock on the door. Michael's hands dropped immediately. Amanda froze. The door creaked open before they could answer, and there she was, Madame Eunice, standing, holding a cup of warm milk. "Young man," she said, "you need rest. You've been on your feet all day. Let the body recover before anything else." Amanda's eyes widened. "More, we were just quiet," Madame Eunice snapped softly. "A good wife listens. You will have him all your life. Must you start now?" Michael swallowed hard, avoiding Amanda's gaze. "Please, let's not provoke Mom," he whispered. Amanda's lips parted in disbelief. Michael. But he just took the cup from his mother. Mama, the thank you, and she smiled proudly. Good boy, she said. I will be in the next room if you need anything. She left the door halfway open. Amanda lay awake that night, wondering what she had walked into. Her husband snored lightly beside her, peaceful, unbothered. By morning, the nightmare deepened. At 5:30 a.m., a loud knock startled her. Both of you. Madam Eunice's voice cut through the door. Devotion by 6. I don't tolerate lateness. Amanda turned to Michael. We just slept, for God's sake. He sighed. That's how she's always been. Please, don't argue. She dragged herself out of bed, still in her nightgown, joining them in the sitting room where a Bible and a bell were already waiting. Madam Eunice led the prayer like a commander. When Amanda yawned softly, the older woman paused mid-verse. If you're tired, my dear, you can go back to bed. I will handle the spiritual matters for the family. The humiliation burned through Amanda's chest, but she forced a smile. I'm fine, Ma. It continued like that for some time. Michael's mother was in control of her marriage, but she never left. She still loved him. One evening, Amanda tried again to steal a moment with her husband. They were in the sitting room, watching a movie, when Madam Eunice's voice thundered from the corridor. Michael, come and check this generator sound. It's shaking my window. He rose immediately. I'll be back soon. He never returned that night. By the end of the week, Madam Eunice had created a routine. Her own version of marriage management. She woke them for prayers, she dictated their meals, she scheduled when Amanda should look fresh for her son, and then came the calendar. She called Amanda to the sitting room and gave her a timetable. Inside it was their love-making routine. She wrote they were to meet 3 times in 2 weeks. Amanda froze. Mama, what is this? Are you supposed to know when I meet with my husband? She stood up from her chair and slapped her. How dare you question me in this house? I say what happens in this house, you will meet with your husband according to that timetable. Michael walked in just in time to hear it. Michael, warn your wife, I won't tolerate any nonsense in this house. Michael didn't say anything, he only told his wife, babe, please, I'm sorry but I can't disobey my mom. She means well, Amanda. Please, don't take it wrongly. Madam Eunice smiled. That's my son. Amanda stood there, trembling, staring at both of them, the man she loved, and the woman who clearly owned him. That night, she didn't bother locking the door. What was the point? Privacy didn't exist here. The next morning, she packed a small bag. She wasn't leaving, not yet, but she needed space, air, something. When she came downstairs, Madam Eunice was already seated in the parlor, sipping tea. Going somewhere? She asked. Amanda hesitated. Just to see my friend. Not today, she said. But Ma, keep quiet, I said. You can't leave this house today. Did you tell me before planning to go out? I can't let you leave, please. That was when Amanda knew she was locked in that marriage forever. There was no going back, especially for the fact she and her boy husband were still in the family house, and she was already few weeks pregnant. Amanda went inside, regretting the day she said I do to Michael, and the day she agreed to stay in the family house with his mother. Michael kept assuring her, telling her they would soon leave the family house. He kept saying, just be patient, baby. We will soon get our own place. Mom is just like that. But deep down, Amanda knew he didn't mean it. He was only saying it to calm her down, because he knew he couldn't stand against his mother. Weeks passed, and Amanda noticed she was feeling dizzy, tired, and moody. At first, she thought it was stress from the endless chores in that house, but when she missed her period, she smiled to herself. Finally, there was a little light in her darkness. She wanted to tell Michael first, but her heart was beating fast. She knew that in that house, even joy needed permission. When she finally told him, Michael hugged her with surprise, then smiled faintly, saying, we will tell Mom tonight. Amanda froze. She whispered, Michael, can't we just wait a bit? But before she could finish, he said, don't worry, babe. He walked to the sitting room to deliver the good news. That night, the joy she felt died in her chest. His mother didn't even let him finish. She dropped the plate she was holding, eyes wide with rage. Pregnant? Who told you to get her pregnant? Didn't I say no intimacy until I give you the go-ahead? You broke my timetable. Amanda's lips trembled. Mommy, we are married. Shut up. She screamed. You don't talk when I'm talking. That child will not stay. You both disobeyed me, and now you want to bring a bastard into my home. Amanda turned to Michael, expecting him to defend her, but his head was down, and when he finally spoke, his words pierced through her heart like a knife. Mommy, please don't be angry. We will do what you say. Amanda's body went numb. Michael, you want me to abort our baby? But Michael couldn't even look at her. That night, she cried till her chest hurt. She called her mother, hoping for comfort, but even her mother's tone was tired. Amanda, her mom said, I warned you not to marry into that family. You see now, but you've entered, you will have to endure for now. Just stay until he's ready to leave. Amanda nodded silently, wiping her tears. It was easier said than done. She didn't have a job. She didn't even have money of her own. Every little thing, even her sanitary pad, came from Michael's mother's purse. If she left, where would she go? So, she stayed. Days later, she miscarried, not naturally, but by force. His mother made her drink a special tea, claiming it was to wash her system. After that, the old woman acted as if nothing happened. Amanda moved around the house like a ghost, barely talking, barely smiling, but Michael never noticed, or maybe he pretended not to. Months later, when the mother-in-law noticed her son's sadness, she decided it was time to rebuild harmony. She called Amanda and said coldly, you can now start trying again. This time, I will tell you when to lie with my son. Amanda blinked in disbelief. How did she end up living like a slave under her husband's mother's schedule? But she said nothing. She obeyed. Weeks later, the mother-in-law called her to her room, smiling this time. I think it's time. Michael is ready tonight. Amanda wanted to cry. The whole thing felt wrong, but she was tired of fighting. That night, she let it happen, and a few weeks later, she was pregnant again. This time, the old woman danced around the house as if she was the one carrying the baby. She said, this is the right time. God's time. My grandchild will come peacefully because I approved it. When it was time for antenatal, she begged Michael that they should go to a proper hospital. But his mother refused. No need to waste money, she said. I will get a midwife to be coming here. She's experienced. She delivered Michael for me at home. Michael nodded. Yes, that's true, Amanda. And that was it. Her fate was sealed. No hospital visits, no privacy, no say over her own body, just a house, ruled by one woman, who decided when life should begin and when it should end. Amanda was already due for delivery. Her legs had started swelling, and every night she barely slept. The midwife came occasionally, checked her pulse, and smiled, saying everything was normal. But deep down, Amanda didn't feel normal. Something in her spirit felt wrong, heavy. She could barely walk without gasping for breath. One night, it started, the contractions. It came like waves of pain, hitting her again and again until she couldn't breathe. She screamed Michael's name, and he ran out of their room, panic in his eyes. Mommy, it's time. He shouted. His mother came out of her room calmly, tying her wrapper. No noise. She snapped. Women in this family don't go to hospitals for delivery. Do you want strangers to see her nakedness? She will give birth here, like I did. Amanda cried, begging in between contractions. Mommy, please. Please let's go to the hospital. I can't do this. I can't. But the old woman ignored her cries. She boiled water, brought towels, and kept pacing around with pride, saying, you will be fine, my daughter. It runs in our blood. We don't need outsiders. Hours passed, the pain increased. Amanda screamed until her voice faded. Michael was sweating, panicking. He ran to call the midwife, but she said she was attending to another woman and couldn't make it immediately. She told them to rush Amanda to the hospital. It was the safest thing to do. Michael repeated the message to his mother, but the woman hissed, are you mad? I said no one in this family gives birth in a hospital. It's a waste of money and disgrace to our lineage. She will deliver here. Amanda's screams filled the house again. She begged Michael with weak hands, please, help me, I'm dying. But he just stood there, trembling, torn between his mother's words and his wife's life. He couldn't move. He couldn't decide, and that silence, that moment of hesitation was all it took. The house went quiet. Amanda's last cry echoed, then faded. When the midwife finally arrived, she found Amanda lifeless, her baby gone too. The look on the woman's face said it all. She turned to Michael's mother and shouted, you killed her. You killed both of them. Michael stood there, frozen. His hands were shaking as he touched Amanda's cold face. For the first time, he disobeyed his mother. He screamed until his voice cracked, holding Amanda's body and begging her to wake up. But it was too late. It was medicine after death. News spread quickly. Amanda's family came the next morning, and what they saw shattered them. Her mother collapsed on the floor beside her daughter's body, weeping uncontrollably. Her brothers swore she wouldn't die in vain. The police came. Investigations began. It didn't take long before the truth unfolded: how the mother-in-law stopped hospital care, how she refused to allow them take Amanda to safety. The court sessions dragged on for months. Michael sat there every day, broken, while Amanda's mother faced the woman who destroyed her daughter's life. The judge's voice was firm that morning. For criminal negligence resulting in the death of Amanda and her unborn child, you are hereby sentenced to life imprisonment. Michael's mother broke down, screaming that she did it for tradition, but no tradition could save her. Michael, however, wasn't left untouched. The court found him guilty of aiding negligence. He was sentenced to a few years behind bars, not as harsh as his mother's, but enough to make him taste the pain of what blind obedience can cause. Would you rather be in Amanda's shoes or disobey your mother-in-law? Drop your opinions in the comment section. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more interesting stories. See you again in my next video.